Hello, this is Craig. This is day 19 of my 30-day video challenge. So today I want to address maybe a common question for some people that are new to the creative field. Whether they're new to writing articles, books, maybe they're writing music, maybe they're a painter, you're new to the creative field. You've found a new passion. You like to paint, you like to draw, you like to write, whether that's music or articles or books. You found something new. And prior to this, you may have not considered yourself a creative person. I would like to address maybe a common question or just a thought or wondering of, can you run out of creativity? Can it run out? Like the creative juices, if you want to call it that, can it run out? Because if you're new to being artistic or creative or expressing yourself through painting or drawing pictures or making videos, if you're new to this, you may do this for a little while and then you start to question, will this ever run out? You paint a painting and it turns out fantastic. Or you write an article and it just blows you away that you wrote this article. You started from nothing and now you have this finished article or a finished painting, and you wonder, can I do this again? Can I repeat this process? And how long can I repeat this process? Will I forever be able to do this, or is this a limited time thing? You may start to write blog articles and you write several, and you wonder if you're going to run out of ideas. Am I going to run out of topics to write about? I only know so much about certain amount of topics. Am I going to run out of things to say? How many times will I be able to come up with one of these articles? Or how many times can I come up with new ideas? All of these questions are valid, and these are things that I've thought before myself. Although I can look back and see myself as creative in different parts of my life, I largely grew up not being a creative person. I didn't have anyone really teaching me how to be creative or how to create or, the creative process. No one was there to teach me and kind of guide me that knew. And that's no fault of anybody around me. I just didn't have those people around me that I could identify as creative people that in their heart they're creatives. That's what they do. And so, when you start doing something new like this and it makes you wonder, are you going to run out of the ability to come up with new ideas, to write new articles? It's a very valid question because you find this newfound love of something, and it lights you up. It gets you going. It gives you a reason to get out of bed in the morning where you want to create. I want to try to attempt to at least discuss it and maybe answer that question for you. I'm reading a book and it's by Seth Godin. If you haven't discovered Seth Godin, you need to Google Seth Godin because he has tons of books that are fantastic. The specific book that I am currently reading for perhaps the second time or third time is The Practice Shipping Creative Work. If you're not familiar with Seth Godin, he's brilliant. He is a genius. And specifically when it comes to creativity, but his perspectives are incredible. His insight is brilliant. And so if you haven't read his work, I would encourage you to check out his work. Find a library, get on your phone, check it out from your library, listen to it, read it, whatever your preference is, but check out his work. So Seth Godin, in his book, The Practice, he is talking about the process of shipping creative work, putting creative work out into the world. These ideas are his, these are not mine. I took some notes, and some of them are quotes. They are his words, and some of them I did my best to summarize. I want to share some of these ideas that he presented starting in his first chapter and try to help shape our discussion around them. He says, creativity is a choice. It's not a bolt of lightning from somewhere else. So as you're beginning in your newfound love of something creative, keep this idea in mind. Creativity is a choice because a lot of times as creatives, we operate from this perspective of scarcity, meaning we think that it's going to run out. We think that there's a limited amount of creative ideas, of paintings that we can paint, of drawings that we can draw. We think that we may have a few lucky breaks and produce a few creative works, and then we're out. The well is all dried up, and there's no more creativity to be found. And then we're just stuck because we shaped our lives around this new habit or this new practice. And all of a sudden, we're out of whatever it takes in order to produce the creative works. This idea that the creativity is going to run out is a lie. That's not to say that people don't get stuck and they don't struggle in being creative. Seth puts it brilliantly in saying that creativity is a choice. It's not a bolt of lightning from somewhere else. So that's point of number one. So he's talking about this process that he calls the practice, and it's producing creative work. And so he says there's a practice available to each of us, the practice of embracing the process of creation and service of better. The practice is not the means to the output. The practice is the output. The practice is all we can control. He says creativity is not an event. It is simply what we do, whether or not we are in the mood. All right, so there's so much treasure there. There's so much wisdom. I can't cover it in one video. One, I want to talk about like your creativity is in the service of better. It's going to help other people in some way, and you don't know how. The second is the practice is not the means to the output. The practice is the output. And this is just a different way of looking at creative work and how we approach it. And then he says the practice is all we can control. A lot of times we're really worried about controlling our creative output. Whether we're writing articles, I'm going to say articles because that's what I'm familiar with, but it could be a lot of things. We try to control the output because we want to come up with all these articles that are going to put us in a great position career-wise, that are going to help build us and our brand as writers if we're a writer. But there's this idea, that also they talks about creativity is not an event. Creativity is simply what we do whether or not we're in the mood. Okay? Because there's lots of times we're not in the mood to create. We're not in the mood to write. We don't want to record another video. We don't want to paint another painting. He says that it's simply what we do, whether or not we're in the mood. It's what we do. This question of can we run out of creativity? Can the well run dry? The short answer is no. Our fear and our scarcity mindset teaches us to think that the well could run dry, that we could run out of ideas. But it's more that we may not have an established process. We may not have a practice, is what Seth Godin is talking about as the practice. We may not have a practice that helps us generate these works. So that's what I wanted to highlight is simply that no, you're not going to run out of creativity. You may struggle in your process of creating, but the creativity doesn't run out. Creativity is something that we do. If you remember, Seth says that creativity is a choice. It's not a bolt of lightning from somewhere else. It comes from within us. If you're struggling, I would encourage you to look at your process. Maybe go check out Seth Godin's book and just have a listen if you're an audiobook person, or read it if you're a physical book person. There's a lot to learn about the creative process. I was never taught the creative process, and so going through Seth's book, I am just digesting all of this, and as a means to try to help me better solidify my understanding of what he's saying, I'm probably going to be bringing up some of these topics that I'm learning about because it helps me to really understand what I'm reading. I hope this discussion has helped really kind of open your eyes maybe to your idea of creativity and the process that creatives go through to produce their work. It is worth looking at, it's worth understanding, even if you're not a creative yourself. But if you are a creative yourself, I would say this is essential to your well-being and your ability to continue as a creative person. That's all I have for today.